can add randomization, you can add heuristics, but in the end, it is a set of rules. Whereas rulings add this sense of a judgment call. And in fact, if we were really to push it, it's almost like the boundary of computability. What are the, we're edging into this like non-computable portion that we add in. And there's definitely an argument here because we are using machine learning to compute this, but it's this kind of non-computability that we look at in complex adaptive systems and complexity science of we have to let the system run to figure out what happens. You couldn't compute it ahead of time. You get this kind of edge of computability boundary, which is something arguably is new that comes to the table that we did not have before.
So I like this rule over rulings and what you were saying earlier about the player agency, because I think it plays very well to some things that I was thinking about. Like first, when you were talking about Baldur's Gate and the mini endings, I feel like one of the big differences between the tabletop experiences that you're talking about and Baldur's Gate is that your actions are much more discrete in Baldur's Gate, and how the game reacts is less flexible, or it has less of an immediacy of showing this like whatever you do has direct consequence in this breadth of what the consequences are versus what can happen in the tabletop. And is this immediacy of it's so close to the core loop that I think is where the difference becomes. And here's like where AI dungeon or AI dungeon-like games really shine, right? Because you have this referee in the game, you can get interpreted actions, which takes into the other part of the rulings over rules. I think one of the core motivations of machine learning is that, or has been that instead of handcrafting rules by hand, we were like, okay, what if instead of me telling you, computer, every single rule and how to behave at every step point, what if I instead show you how things should behave and you come up with whatever underlying rules you think are proper to make that work? And this feels to me very much on the rulings over rules. You're essentially saying, I'm going to show you how I think this game ought to be, and you get to make the calls. But the process of you've trained this model to make those calls in the first place.
Okay, so we're going to rabbit hole just a bit because we need to, I think, come back up to the AI native game definition. But I had to double check it. The term I was looking for, so there are a couple terms in here, and I want to call out on tabletop role-playing game design.